Okay, just say something. Can you hear me? Your mic's muted. There you go. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So old news, not worth talking about. Zuckerberg admitting that the FBI told him that Burisma, there was a story about Biden's family in Burisma that would be Russian disinformation. That's old news on your point and weak to talk about. So let's hear the new news that you have revolving around people being kicked out of watching the ballot counting in Georgia. Go ahead. The new news that you have breaking here tonight. Here we go. You there?
Yeah, I'm getting a ton of feedback. It's coming through like twice. So
you're probably. I can tell you. What
I'm not saying that.
I can tell you what it probably is. Are you listening to me on like YouTube or something? As you have to turn down the audio of me on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like pause the video and just listen through Discord. Meanwhile, while you're real quick, let me read this super chat real quick. Canisius for $9.99. Thank you so much. Hey, Rob, the GOP needs to focus on state-level elections in between presidential elections, like Secretary of State and Governor. That's how we change the rules of the game. Completely agree. All right, sorry to cut you off there. Go ahead.
All right, is that better?
Yeah, you sound good in my end.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that, that isn't a part of it. I'm just saying, well, mainly what I'm saying is that there was so much stuff that went on during the time of the election, like the Georgia thing, with the ballots. Like, okay, so that's a part of it, but what are we going to do with this 60 days before the election?
Yeah, it's a great question. You're the one that brings up that me talking about this is old news. So now you're just rehashing.
That's all old news.
You're saying no need to talk about it. Allow the Democrats
60 days before the election. What are we going to do now?
What's your plan? What are you doing 60 days before the election? What should we be talking about? Go ahead.
I'm not saying that we like you're acting like, but it's like new news that we haven't known before. We knew about the whole Zuckerberg thing. We knew about the.
Go ahead. Can you point me? You knew about it.
Biden laptop. We've known about it for years now.
Okay. Do you have a social media?
What are we doing 6 days before the election about it?
Do you have social media?
Yeah, some, yeah.
Can you post me to you talking about Zuckerberg admitting that the FBI told him that there was a story that would be Russia disinformation coming about the Biden family in Burisma? Can you show me you post? You knew about it. So can you post it?
Yeah, I don't have Facebook. I don't have.
That's cool. You said you have social media. You said you have social media. So what do you, X?
Yeah,
you have X?
No, I don't have X.
Okay, so you're not posting anything political on social media. Okay, that's fine.
No.
That's fair. Can you post me no problem. But you were aware of this. So can you post me the article showing that Zuckerberg had admitted that the FBI told him, you're saying this, we've known this for years, right? So can post me the article from a couple years ago.
What are we saying? We're saying we didn't know about this?
No, I'm saying that we suspected that there were people at the FBI that were going to social media companies who knew that the laptop was real and was preempting that by talking specifically about Hunter Biden and the Burisma situation and laptop-related things, so that then when this story eventually broke, which they knew, the FBI knew that this absolutely would eventually break, the very specific details that they had preempted and primered social media companies to believe were what they would be seeing, which would all but ensure that they would censor it. That's different than what we were told, which was, well, the FBI said there could be Russian disinformation coming out, and so when we saw the Hunter Biden story, we were like, oh, that could be Russian disinformation. Those are two completely different things, because arguably the latter could be defensible. The FBI is going to say, well, we just knew that Russia would try to meddle in some ways, so we were just saying. Having smoking gun from Zuckerberg admitting, no, they specifically told us about Biden and Burisma, and then knowing that the FBI had that laptop and knew that laptop was authentic would show that the reason that the FBI was saying Biden and Burisma was because they had the details. I think that it certainly is a smoking gun proof that the FBI acted in a corrupt fashion.
You don't think we had enough before this to do something about the elections?
Well, I absolutely do. But what did the Republicans do? What did you do? What did you do?
That's what I'm saying.
Right. What did you? I'll tell you. If you want to hear what I did, I could tell you. I could tell you what I did, but I'd like to hear what you did. What did you do?
What did you want me to do?
What?
You want me to call
It doesn't matter.
Like,
it doesn't matter
what
what
do you want me to do?
It doesn't matter what I wanted
Like
you
you're
to
talking
do.
about it. I'm not coming at you for talking about it. I appreciate you talking about it, but it's old news.
That's fine. I'm asking you. I know. Look, I understand you're deflecting from it. It doesn't matter what I wanted you to do. It doesn't matter that you think this is old news. My question to you is, when this news broke that you apparently knew about years ago, what did you do? That's it. It doesn't matter what I wanted you to do. Tell us all what you did.
I did what everybody else did. Watched our representatives do nothing about it.
Okay, so you did nothing.
What? Okay, is there somebody who has done something?
Not much. Not in official capacities. I at least tried to do something more than nothing. For example,
You're coming at me like I'm telling you that you're doing nothing by having this stream. I'm not saying that at all.
No.
I'm just saying that this is old news. Like
what I'm coming at you for is someone that said me talking about this was, and I'm quoting now, weak, and that it was old news. And so I'm talking about why I think it's important to be talking about this story that just broke, the specific details of it a day or two. I think that it's important to talk about, and I think that we can leverage that to showing the dangers of our corrupt FBI. Now, if you followed me for any amount of time, it works better specifically because it's my show if you let me talk and then I let you talk, right? So I'll finish my point here. But specifically when my major issue is talking about corruptions in our executive institutions, particularly with the focus on the intel communities. So it would seem that it would be relevant to me when a story like this breaks that's all but a smoking gun, that they were intentionally telling social media companies that a story was coming that they knew was true and was one that they had been carefully sitting on. That seems to be pretty damning evidence for the topics that I normally talk about. I also think that it could be used to parlay into people that maybe think that Trump's a danger, to talk specifically about how the institutions behind Kamala Harris are actually more credibly a threat, because our intel agencies that are currently locking people up, that are currently going after Donald Trump, that are currently going after censoring of free speech and stuff online, are so blatantly corrupt that they interfered to steal the 2020 election. And I think that a great many people don't know that. And the problem is people like you are predispositioned to listening to this stuff, I assume, because you're listening to some fat guy like me on a Thursday night. But you have to understand the average American isn't like that. And unless they get like 100% proof, they're always going to brush something off. So the idea, this story is really easy to sell. Like, listen, the FBI had this laptop. They knew the allegations of Hunter Biden working for Burisma. Then agents of theirs went to social media company and said, hey, there could be a Russian disinformation story breaking about Hunter Biden and Burisma, or the Biden family and Burisma. And then the social media companies, when that story breaks in October, they used to call this an October surprise, right? Are you aware of that phrase? It used to be, before we had months and months of voting, when you just voted on the same day, basically, that teams would save their most scandalous or their most sensational story, opposition research about the opponent, until October, because you wanted it fresh in everyone's mind right before the election. I sincerely believe that Trump thought, listen, all this corruption, once it comes out in October, that'll be that. Like, people realize everything they've accused me of being, that's actually what the Biden family is. And then he was shocked when he saw, whoops, they're just censoring that story off social media. The mainstream media is not talking about it. And Bill Barr's sitting around going, what can we do about it? Too late now. And so I think Trump was like, well, shit, I'm screwed. Like, and that's how they got away with this. And to me, that's the new revelation, because you have to understand, I've debated this for years, and the argument's always been, no problem here, Rob, no problem. The FBI was just doing due diligence, telling social media, hey, maybe Russia will try to interfere again and put disinformation out there. And hey, if social media took it upon themselves to think, well, the Hunter Biden laptop story seems like it could be Russian disinformation, so we'll censor it. That's a completely different story than the FBI was sitting on this laptop, knew that it was real, and was going out there preempting the story by telling social media, yeah, there's going to be a story about the Bidens and Burisma that will be Russian disinformation, and you shouldn't allow that type of shit on your platforms.
This isn't the first time that he said that. He said this months and years ago. That,
show me.
No, okay, so not specifically, and I can show you, but not specifically what he said in this last one. He didn't get into that detail, but he asked them. He said that they asked him. They told him there was going to be information coming, and that he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have stopped it from being disseminated, but he did because he thought that it was that what they were talking about with the Russian information.
So remember when I said there were two scenarios? There was the scenario that we heard of, and the pushback was always this when I would bring it up. Hey, the FBI was just saying Russian disinformation would come out, and they have every right to do that. That's due diligence. And you just re-explained that scenario. You're like, yep, that's what Zuckerberg admitted before. So, then I said, what's different now is the specific details that it was going to be specifically about the Biden family and Burisma, which was information
that was enough 3 years ago.
No.
It wasn't enough for them to go, wait a second.
Enough for who? Enough for who? Enough for who?
Right. Anybody in the Republican Party to look deeper into it?
The Republican Party sucks, and next.
Okay, so what are we going to do about our elections?
Right. Isn't that the point? So I just got done telling you, my audience isn't people like you that are already, the election was stolen, the pipe didn't burst, they cheated with Dominion voting. You're not the audience that I need to convince that that the 2020 election was stolen. The audience is dudes like my neighbor, right, that don't really pay attention to politics. And when I start going, well, there was this laptop and that's and that, he's like, yeah, I'm tuning out when you get into the details. Because all they need is any sort of plausible deniability. And if the plausible deniability is, well, the FBI was worried that Russia would interfere, and so they just did their due diligence and said, hey, Russia could interfere, that my neighbor's going to go, yeah, that's probably what you would expect the FBI to say.
What did he say?
Let me finish. But if the FBI is saying there's going to be a story about the Biden family and Burisma, and that's going to be Russian disinformation, then that's not so easy to brush off. And that shows the culpability. Then when you factor it into like, oh, the same FBI that's looking into the assassination attempt against Trump, the same FBI.
He already said this.
All right, man.
Hey, years ago.
Okay, then what? Then I'm wrong. I follow this stuff heavily. I'm wrong. You're going to post me the link right now. If you can't post me the link in the next 5 minutes, then I'm just going to mute you, and I'm just going to mute you. And I'm done. Don't ask you a question. You can ask a question, but you're on the clock. You have 5 minutes
now. All right, buddy. I'm not even that technologically sound to do that in 5 minutes. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, you got to give me more time than that. But what is the difference between what he said before and what he's saying now? The specifics of Burisma and the Biden family? Like, we knew that's what it was about.
Okay, so I'm going to explain this one more time. It's not a matter of you being not good technological. It is a matter of you coming in with a chip on your shoulder saying that what I'm saying is weak.
I'm not coming in with a chip on my shoulder, buddy.
You did. You came in and said what I'm talking about is... Okay, how do you think I would... If you said something, I said, your argument's weak, it's old news, how would you interpret that?
Just how I said it.
Okay, well, I'm interpreting that as you coming in sort of insulting me or...
Hey, you're projecting.
Okay, well, you could think I'm projecting, but I think it's a reasonable interpretation. I'll tell you, though, I'll trust my judgment over yours, showing your bad comprehension skills, because this is like the fourth time now that I'll have to explain. What is the difference between those two things? Now, I'm going to talk, sometimes I talk a little fast, and I understand that it seems as if you have a very difficult time with listening comprehension. So I'm going to talk real slow for you. Don't interrupt me. I'm going to talk real slow for you. Meanwhile, you're going to be looking up the article, right? Because you say that this was known years ago. So you're going to look that article up and you're going to find it for me. Well, okay.
Or do you want me to look up the article?
Okay, I'll tell you what. You're right. Good point. Finally, you make a good point. Don't look up the article. I'm absolutely convinced. I'm absolutely. Oh, you're projecting. I'm absolutely convinced, given your lack of understanding and comprehension skills, that you can't do two things at once. So I apologize for assuming that, like a normal person, that you could. So here we go. The difference is this. You ready? Now we'll see. I'll ask the audience this. Just say yes or no. Here's the question I'll ask the audience. Did I make this clear the first 3 times I told this caller? You can just give a yes or no as I talk very slowly and re-outline it again. An average person could believe that the FBI would be worried that a foreign state actor like Russia could meddle in our elections. And so a normal, objective person could have heard the story that we were aware of for years. That was, the FBI reached out to social media companies and said there could be Russian disinformation that would come out about Biden. And so you should be careful to allow that on your channels. And an average person could say, yeah, okay. So that's why the FBI did nothing wrong suggesting that. And that's why social media assumed that this Biden laptop story could have been something that was Russian disinformation. That's the story that Zuckerberg previously told on places like his interview with Joe Rogan. That is different than Zuckerberg saying the FBI told us that there would be a story about the Biden family and Burisma that would be Russian disinformation. Then the laptop story breaks that is about the Biden family and Burisma, and they say, oh, this is almost exactly what the FBI told us would be coming out that is Russian disinformation. Do you understand the difference between those two things? And does the audience, more importantly, did all of you, a simple yes or no, understand the difference between that in the first 3 times that I explained it to this caller?
So you want your intelligent viewers to think that because he now said that it was Biden and Burisma and not just a Russian something in Russia was going to interfere, that the whole thing with the Biden laptop is now relevant again because of that?
Yes.
Like, we've known about this situation for years.
It would be the difference. It would be the difference in
about
saying this.
Adding words, just like Biden and Burisma to the laptop. Like, we knew it was about that. Everything on the laptop talked about that.
Thanks so much for the call. Enjoy. I'm not going to waste my time on the guy anymore. We knew about it. We knew about it. Okay. You did it, man. Anyways, you can go check out Just Say Something's channel where he'll talk to you about the pipes bursting again. That's new information, so you can go listen to that again. Anyways, for those of us, again, I reiterate, anyone who says this is actually an unwilling stooge for the very people that they claim to be against. So what that guy is making, trying to be the most effective argument, whether he knows or not, against people that want to root out this corruption. So, like, for example, I could say, hey, assassination attempt on Trump. He'll go, we knew about that. We knew about that. I could say, Kamala said to ban fracking. We knew about that. We knew about, whatever. We knew about that. I could say, Tim Walz lying stolen valor. We knew about that. We knew about all that. We knew about that. They reported that in Minnesota years ago. We knew about all that. I could say, poor economy under the Bidens. We knew about all that. We knew about. So what's the breaking stories that these people want to talk about? Just say something. What do you want to talk about? Go ahead. Tell me what you're talking about. What are you doing to help Trump win the election? What are you doing? What are you doing against Kamala Harris? Go ahead. You don't have social media. You just watch people like me. You admit that you didn't do anything in the past. So what are you doing? Now, I'll admit I do next to nothing. I do talk to politicians in Pennsylvania. I've talked to people on Trump's team. I volunteered for Trump's team in 2020. I vehemently fought with county commissioners, etc., that we needed to disband the Pennsylvania GOP after the 2020 election losses. I wasn't successful, but I at least tried. I was pounding the pavement. I was talking to people. Granted, it wasn't much, but I tried. You did nothing, as you admitted. Okay, great. Now you're like, he still can't answer. This is old news. Don't talk about it. Okay, what should we talk about? What should we talk? He can't give an answer. Dude, take a chill pill. I'm just saying this is old news. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? He has no answer. And here's the reason. What he'll inevitably say, this is what people like Just Say Something do. This is the genius they are. Again, I'll assume that he's in good faith, that he thinks, that's right, Mr. White. That's you put it better than I could have. It's embarrassing to have people like Just on our side. Don't talk about it and just let it disappear. Real smart guy. Right. And so then what do we talk about? Well, whatever the mainstream media is talking about that day. Arlington Cemetery. Let's talk about that. Right? That's what we should talk about? Oh, if they stop talking about the assassination attempt, then we stop talking about it because it's old news. And nothing got done anyways. What should we do to fix it? Why will me talking about what we should do to fix it? That's old news. Haven't you watched my channel? I've talked about what we should do to fix it. I've talked about it a great many times. Mike Benz is out there talking about it today. We don't even get to... How can you say that something needs to be fixed if you can't even talk about what the problem is because you say, yeah, we already know? Well, step one to fixing it is to convincing enough people that it's a problem, which you're against that step because you say everybody already knows, so it doesn't matter. So you did it, man. Step one is to ridicule and mock people like you, trying to encourage us to stop telling people that don't know just how corrupt this system is. That's step one. And as long as big brain people like you are on our side going, just don't talk about it. Just don't talk about it. Don't talk about it anymore. Everybody knows. Use those donations to actually do something. I will use those donations to do something. I'll be taking my wife out to a nice dinner next Friday. That's what I'll be doing. Save your money and you go do something. Start a stream, talk to 2 or 3 people, however, maybe you only be talking to one person, whatever, and tell us what to do. Go ahead, you tell us. Step 1. Have enough people in this country wake up to how corrupt this system is to demand change. Step 2, this will force the rhinos in the GOP to start losing elections or start doing something like stop funding the FBI. Step 3, get people elected more on the Republican side that understand that the biggest issue we have is corrupt intel agencies. Step 4, continue to work with people like Ron DeSantis, others, Vivek Ramaswamy, that talk specifically about how eliminating the FBI is a step that we need to do. Step 5, take the majority of the people that work at the FBI and give them to the agents that are there, give them to other agencies like the U.S. Marshals and have them do stuff like to employ those people to do things. Step 6, have immediate criminal investigations of the people in the FBI that did this. Step 7, if the Republicans are unwilling to do that, then do things like I did, run for Congress to primary them because it shows their corruption. But all that hinges on step 1, which is waking enough people up to the blatant corruption so that they demand accountability and answers to occur. That's the very step that you want to stop us at. You're like, nope, don't talk about it. Now, what's your suggestions? Did you run for Congress? I ran for Congress and refused to accept any donations. I spent about $8,000 of my own dollars. The primary issue that I talked about was the corruption of particularly our intel agencies, but also other agents in the executive. I've gone to Republican rally after Republican rally talking to actual politicians demanding accountability for what I see as corruption in these institutions. I've talked on my show at great length about the complete and utter need to completely disband the FBI, something that I get ridiculed for all the time. So, thank you so much, Just Say Something. I am going to now put you on mute on Restream. I don't give a fuck what you say anymore. You can keep putting the super chats, but I won't see them. Thanks so much, dude.